Welcome to Breast Intentions, the podcast where we take off the bra of expectations and dive into honest, empowering conversations. We're your hosts, Nadine and Cynthia, two Canadian girls who swapped snow boots for flip-flops in the Cayman Islands. This is your space to feel seen, supported, and a little less alone. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of champagne and get ready for your weekly handful of truth, wellness, and empowerment. Welcome back to Breast Intentions, where today we're diving into the world of fashion and self-expression with Isy Obi, the founder of the award-winning Isy Obi fashion brand. Isy comes from a lineage of creative women and initially pursued a career in finance before returning to her roots in fashion design. Inspired by nature, travel, and her multicultural background, her designs are more than just clothes. They're stories woven into fabric, intended to remind us of our unique beauty and strength. Each Isy Obi piece is a celebration of individuality, designed to make the wearer feel recognized and beautiful without external validation. Today, Isy will share how her designs empower and connect people to their inner beauty. Welcome back to the next episode of Breast Intentions. We're here today with Isy Obi from Isy Obi Designs. Welcome to the podcast, Isy.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
We're excited to have you here. Yeah. We're going to be chatting about fashion and design. Can you tell us a little bit about your story from going from finance to clothing designer? How did that happen?
Sure. So my mum was a fashion designer, but she was also a scientist. So my mum did both things. And so for me, it never seemed weird that you would be able to do basically whatever you wanted. The irony was that I never really wanted to do fashion anyway. I thought finance was way sexier, and I couldn't wait to get in high heels and power suits. And this was, the 90s. So, so I did that. I studied economics and finance and then qualified as an accountant and started working in insurance and banking and insolvency in London. But I never felt right. It never felt comfortable, which was distressing for me because I'd spent a lot of time training and doing the thing. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort and commitment. And when I first moved to Cayman, I initially came here as an accountant working in finance. But my promise to myself was that I would come here to a place that was so beautiful, where the lifestyle is amazing, where the people are amazing. And if I still didn't want to be an accountant, even with the changed environment, then it meant I really didn't want to be an accountant. And I arrived, and guess what? I loved the lifestyle and I still hated my job. So I will say that being a designer is probably, I'm on my 8th career. So I've changed a lot. I'm one of these people where if it doesn't feel comfortable, it's very hard for me to stay.
Yeah. And
as I got older, that has been quite a challenging thing to deal with because I didn't know anyone else like me. Because people usually would stick with the traditional path, I'm going to be a this, and then, or they'd make a slight shift. My careers have been completely different. But now I have an appreciation for the part of me that enjoys experimenting and discovering who I am. And essentially my journey to becoming a designer feels like an evolution to becoming more of myself every day.
What were the other careers before designer?
Let's see. I've had a web development company.
Oh, okay.
I worked in recruitment. I was in graphic design. I was in marketing, real estate.
It's all creative.
Yeah.
Is
it
it
all
creative,
kind of has a common thread.
I guess I was slowly moving away from accounting, but I was never brave enough. I wasn't brave enough to cut it off immediately. Each thing was a step further away. Each thing was a step further away until I ended up doing the thing, I guess, in my heart I always wanted to do, but I just didn't allow myself to do it, which was design.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you'd asked me when I was in my early 20s if I was creative, I'd be like, no, I'm not creative at all.
So like the
Imagine.
accountant side.
Yeah.
Not creative.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was always in there. So now you're into design as your career. What primarily inspires your designs?
It might sound, well, a few things. So my customers, my clients, I love dressing my clients. I always have an image of the women I'm dressing in mind whenever I'm creating anything. I travel a lot. I love to travel. That's one of my passions. And I love clothing for travel. I love to be comfortable. I want the women who wear my clothing to be comfortable. I love nature. I'm an artist, so I put a lot of my art into my creations, into the print design, into the clothing design itself. So, yeah.
Very good. So I know that you have bags and cuffs and scarves and beach towels. Can you tell us a little bit about the range that you create? I know that's not it. There's more.
No, you know, I'm so lucky. I feel like I have the best job in the world for me, because it's essentially a platform for me to play. I get to play every time I design something. So I started off doing women's clothing, and then I've done handbags. Right now we have beach bags, accessory bags, towels. Gosh, sleep masks. I actually studied shoe design for a while, but then I decided not to go that way. It's an opportunity for me because I love print, especially. So creating new products and product development also allows me to play with the types of prints that I'm creating. I studied a bit of product development at school as well. And so as I get older and more confident in actually imagining a product and bringing it to life, I find my range is growing. So it's about maybe pulling back each season and deciding, okay, we're going to go with this, or, you know, this works for our customer, or this doesn't work for our customer, because essentially at the end of the day, it really is based around our clients.
Right. So if we can clarify that, you do design clothing, like
Yes,
the way the clothing looks, you design the bag, but you also design the patterns.
I do. Yeah.
Which is different. Like, not everybody does that.
No, my life is crazy. I'm a crazy person. So, you know, yeah, the fabric design is a way that allows me to put my artistry into the things that I'm creating. I love color. I love art. When I create a print, so it's a funny story, this. I'll tell you what happened. During COVID, or before COVID, I did mostly women's clothing. In fact, that was basically what I did. But I started to get a bit disillusioned with that, because I was basically doing what was expected of me in the industry. You know, you go to trade shows, you do the runway shows, you do you're a fashion designer, so you do. And I was getting burnt out and disillusioned. And then COVID hit, and my business had to shutter because it was such a hard time for production and everything. So it was a hard time, but it was also a massive opportunity for me to rethink what I wanted my business to be, what SCB was going to be about. And in those months where we couldn't go anywhere, do anything, I set up another company, a different story. But I also thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I could put all the things I love into what I do? And the things I love to write, I love to draw, I love to design, I love telling stories. So I thought to myself, right, I'm going to combine all of that into the collections that I create. And so that was where the storyteller collections were born. And in the storyteller collections, I write original stories, short stories based on the island. I also love inspirational work. So my short stories are kind of, in Cayman, storytelling is very much part of Cayman culture. Mm-hmm. It's also very much part of African culture because I'm African by birth. So for me, I was able to, it's a way that I can combine the two aspects of the cultures that I live into this storytelling thing. And then I take the stories and then create the artwork and then create the prints from the stories that I write. And what it means for me as a designer is that I am creating something unique. So I know that I haven't seen it somewhere else, and I'm bringing it into my work because it just all comes from me, and that makes it so satisfying. And that was COVID's gift to me, to create a brand that satisfies so many parts of me.
Mm-hmm. So the storytelling comes from the designs themselves, but also...
Yes. So the storytelling is, like I said, I like inspirational work. And in African storytelling, there's usually, it's the folk tales, there's usually a moral to the tale. It's the way that you could share culture over time, learn about life and learn, in a way that I guess, I don't know if movies do that for us today, but in the old days, that was how they would teach the next generation, or, share their culture across, villages and things. So for me, the storytelling allows me, it's inspired by things happening in my life, things happening around, things that I see. I incorporate a lot of Cayman culture into the stories because this is where I live, and I love it. And I guess it's my way of trying to preserve some of Cayman's heritage and translate it in a way that feels modern and fresh and unusual.
Right. And when somebody buys a piece of clothing or a bag or a scarf, there's a code.
There is a code. So the other thing about stories is that they have to be told, right? So in thinking about how I wanted to share the stories in my brand, I thought, right, what I could do is I could narrate the stories. So I write the stories, and I've just narrated the next story for the new collection that will be coming out in December. I write the stories, I narrate the stories, and then we put them on a QR code. So for every design that you buy, you can listen to the story that inspired the design. So I wanted to create something that was more than just a piece of clothing, something that helps to remind people, do something in the world that might make a difference for somebody.
Is anyone else doing this?
Hope not.
I've not seen it. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
I haven't seen it anywhere. But like I said, I had a lot of time in my hands in COVID, and also just time to think about, okay, who do I want to be and what do I want to offer in this world, essentially? And this is my offering.
Yeah, it's very cool, very original.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. What helps you decide what you will create next, or what patterns you'd choose?
Usually the story. So oftentimes the stories, I explain to people that I get a lot of stories in my dreams. When your mind is relaxed, and suddenly I sleep with a pen and paper by my bed because I wake up and I'm like, oh, I know what the story is. And my husband's like, oh God, here we go. And the stories generally have a theme. And I notice that the themes are usually around, like I said, things that are happening to me or things that are happening to my friends. There are a lot of themes. The last story, Lecky and the Heron, is about believing that you can. You know, how do you manifest something that you want so much in your heart? And it's about a girl who dreams about having a farm. She lives up in Northside. And there's always a bit of magic in the stories because I like magic. And each story is different. So that one's about believing you can. There are stories about understanding your value. There are stories about, you know, understanding how powerful you are. So these are things that come up in me and I'm able to express through the stories. And then I want the print to reflect the idea of the story. Then I want the clothing to reflect the idea of the print. And so it goes.
Very good. Yeah. How does your multicultural background and travel shape the aesthetics of Isy B?
Quite a lot, actually. I love color, as you can see.
Yep.
We both love color.
Yep.
But yes, so like I said, being African and the idea of storytelling, but also being Camannian now and the idea of storytelling, I feel so privileged to be able to marry those two aspects of culture that I know. And my designs don't tend to be sort of, I'm not looking for the latest trend. I love colors and I love to see how colors work. And so my use of color is quite different to what you would find. And I think that is also influenced by travel. So we travel a lot in Asia and Latin America and in Africa as well. And the color taste differs from place to place. Yeah. So it's just I go and I absorb color and I look at the colors and I love the way things work, so that when I come back to my studio and I'm looking at how things sit together, then it feels intuitive, you know. So I'm like, okay, I know what goes with that, or you know.
Yeah. What is your goal with the Isy B designs?
That is a good question. You know, it's my goal. My goal is twofold. First of all, I want women to feel beautiful. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel elegant. So my aesthetic tends more towards elegance, which works very well for my client base. And also I'm kind of an old-fashioned girl because I like old-fashioned elegance, you know. So my goal is to help give my clients pieces that they can incorporate into their wardrobes and make them feel fantastic. And also the storytelling thing and the inspiration thing also plays into that as well. And then on a personal side, my goal with the brand is to allow me to continue to evolve as a person. You know, as you know, it takes a lot to set up a business of your own and to run a business. So that I've done that, so that's great. But the thing is showing up every day and also allowing yourself to grow, allowing yourself to evolve, allowing yourself to experiment and learning to trust yourself. Those have been lessons that have been key for me in my business. And if I can continue to evolve in that vein, I will be very happy, you know?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Sure.
So in regards to the growing and stuff, in regards to growing the brand, is there certain things that you will not do in terms of like mass market or getting into certain stores?
You know, it's funny you should ask that, because I think, you know, part of the thing that I was doing before COVID, where I was trying to be like all the other brands, because that's what I thought I had to be. When I won Designer of the Year at Phoenix Fashion Week, my prize was to design a line for a home shopping network in the US and actually go on the channel and sell and do all the home shopping things.
We missed this part at the beginning of the introduction. You never said this.
I know. Well, you know what? It was so long ago that I think I'm the first Caribbean brand to ever have a collection and a home shopping channel in the US.
Wow. Good for you.
That's amazing.
And it was an interesting experience, you know, as like I don't really have any experience of home shopping. Like I think it's a generational thing. It was before our generation, really. What it really taught me is that what I create is special to me. You know, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, and I want to keep it that way. You know, I never say never, but if I were to grow the brand, it would have to be in a very controlled way. And also, you know, I've learned my lesson. I learned my lesson before COVID, you know. I need to work in a way that's fulfilling to me. If I don't get satisfaction from my work, then there's no amount of money in the world that, you know, will give me that sense of well-being, or, you know, doing something in the world that makes a difference or is actually moving the needle for somebody. So if I were to grow the brand in that way, it would have to be so carefully done and carefully managed. So.
I think that flows very nicely into the next question. How do you aim to empower women, the women who wear your designs?
We, as women, we get, I don't know, you know, it's something I've just realized for myself in the last few years, that I have been pegged. You know, you get told who you are. You get pegged into situations. So it's only once you become more alive to it that you realize that, oh, I can choose who I want to be. That's allowed. You know, I can choose how I want to present myself. And for me, clothing is one of the ways that you can do that very easily. It's such a great way to express yourself. You know, as adults, we don't get toys. We don't have toys to play with. Clothing, for me, are your toys. You know, this is something that you can go into your closet in the morning and be able to be creative and present yourself in any way that you wish. So when I create clothes, or when I create my designs, I want to empower women to have that sense that they can play, or they can, you know, turn up today, show up as the person they want to be today. And that's okay. You know, if you want to wear bold splashes of color today, a bold print, no one can tell you anything. You can do that, you know. And this is coming from someone who really glamorized power suits and high heels.
Right.
Probably solid colors.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So as I get older and I get more confident in who I am as a person, I would like women to understand that they have access to that as well. You know, getting older presents an opportunity because you're no longer reliant on the world to tell you who you are. You know, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't, and I'm going to say this, and it might be a bit controversial, but when you're younger, you trade a lot on your sexuality. You know, you're like, you know, I'm a sexy little thing, and I, you know, this is what I do. And as you get older, there are other options for you to present who you are,
Right.
you know, and that's the area in which I play, and that's where I want to invite people to come and play with me.
A few things have come to mind. I wear a lot of pattern, a lot of color, and I've had women say to me, I love what you're wearing. I could never wear
I was
that.
just going to say, did they say I could never do
Often.
All the time.
Yeah.
Often, yeah.
All
And
the
I'm like, why not? Of course you can. If you like it, wear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it does take time, and it does take that realization that you are allowed.
Yeah.
You know, like as women, we're not supposed to be too loud, too bright, don't laugh too loudly. You have to be nice and fit in the box. You know,
Yeah.
we were talking about perimenopause earlier, and one of the greatest things, one of the greatest gifts I'm getting now at this stage of my life is just, I don't care.
Yeah. Same.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I used a different word, but I don't
It's so fun.
either. Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself for the first time.
And I think back, like, why did I care so much? Like,
know.
all that wasted time, and who was I caring for? Like, what was that about?
I know. Well, but that's the other thing, though, because then I have to forgive myself for caring so much because that was where I was at that point in my life. You know, I didn't know. I couldn't even articulate what I'm saying now.
No, exactly.
So this is one of the beauties of becoming older and being more experienced. You know, you understand stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The other thing that did come to mind before is when you were saying that we dress, to be a certain sexuality or
and that's fine.
It's because I think and I will still feel this in the back of my head sometimes, like, oh, well, will a man think this is attractive on me? And then I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care anymore. But at one point I did care. And now to me, the biggest compliments come from women.
Yeah,
for sure.
When like somebody else, like another woman will say, I love your outfit. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, because you really look good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
It's just the social challenges behind clothing and dress is so fascinating over the centuries, not just now, but I think, from the 60s, the burning of bras to mini skirts and, clothing are so powerful. Your choice of clothing is so powerful. It can start a revolution. Imagine that.
Right? It's true. Also very powerful, and moving on to our next question, is about self-image and self-esteem. Do you think that fashion plays a role in this for women?
Yes, I think so. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, I think. Because on one hand, fashion will try to dictate what you should wear and what looks good and what's in style and what's not in style.
Yeah.
But on the other hand as well, I think that fashion also offers this opportunity, if you are willing to take it, to have an avenue for self-expression that is, that can be incorporated into your daily life. Mm-hmm. So you too can be an artist in choosing what you want to wear today. I think fashion, for self-esteem purposes, the double-edged sword is trying not to get pulled so much into what you should be doing, but to be relaxed enough to enjoy and start to learn what you like and what suits you. Mm-hmm. And what suits you might not be what suits the current trend. Oh, yeah. But it just suits you. And why does it suit you? Because it makes you happy and you think you look good in it.
Yeah.
So wear it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Right. 100%. What advice would you give to your listeners about choosing outfits that enhance their natural beauty and express their personal style?
So, again, it boils down to personal choice and personal taste. I would say that if you can be brave enough to trust your choices, you are more likely to get it right than not.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Because if you rely on external platforms, media to dictate to you what to wear, it can become very confusing. Mm-hmm. And that's when things start to go awry, and maybe you feel that things don't go well together, because it's then becomes a mix of things that you've seen and, Mm-hmm. But if you can trust your taste is your taste. Mm-hmm. You will generally pull together things that work together, because it's you. It's coming from you. It's coming from what you like.
And if you like it, then you'll feel confident in it. Exactly. And that confidence will exude.
Exactly.
And everybody will pick up on that.
Exactly.
Oh, you look good today.
Exactly.
And you're like, yeah, I do.
Too right, I do. And accept a compliment. That's the other thing. We're so bad at accepting compliments.
Oh, it's on sale, or yeah.
The easiest way to learn to accept compliments is to give them.
And then you'll get used to it. Yeah.
So give more compliments. and you will find.
And it makes you feel good to give a compliment as well.
True.
You'll notice that
Exactly.
too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is true.
So,
What trends have you embraced recently?
um,
And that might actually be a loaded question
No,
because I
that's
don't
fine.
know if you really like go with the trends.
no, I don't. Not aesthetically necessarily, but in terms of personal well-being and wellness, the trend that I embrace, and I am embracing more and more every day, is the one where you trust yourself. Just learning to trust myself. Who knew? It's not something you get taught as a kid, especially not from my background, that it's okay. Your choices are fine. Like, you are able to do whatever you like. But from a fashion standpoint, I don't tend to follow the trends because when I think about my customer, they come in so many different body shapes and sizes, and I love that because it makes designing for my clients very interesting, even more interesting. And I'm wary of trends that try to pigeonhole them all and say, okay, this is what everyone's going to be wearing, because I know full well that all my clients are different. So
Right. Can you tell us any of those trends?
any of those trends. Okay. So for example, something I love and I'm loving at the moment, and it's probably going to be in my next collection as well, is the matching trend.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a trend really, but it's something that
As
you
in like
see
a
more.
top and a bottom?
Yeah,
Okay.
you see more and more of. I think it's very elegant. It's an easy styling thing because if you want to look, I guess, chic and modern, and elegant, pairing a top and matching bottom does it very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, for example, the other thing about the matching top and bottom as well is that it can end up looking like a one piece. So then it's easier to wear. So, for example, a jumpsuit can be difficult across the board for most women. But if you have a matching top and matching bottom, it looks like you're wearing a jumpsuit, but you're way more comfortable. So,
Right. We saw that at the fashion show the other night. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. So I like that for my clients.
And you can also mix and match. Like you
Yes,
could just wear the bottom with
exactly.
another top or the
Exactly.
top with another bottom. So
Exactly.
it's kind of
So
like
it's infinite.
several outfits.
This is the other thing. So when I'm designing, I want my client to be able to interchange things. So yes, you can match the top and bottom, or you can match anything in the collection, but I want you to be able to match it and mix it with something else in your closet. So it becomes an accessorizing piece, as it were.
Yep.
Okay. So then kind of playing off of that as well, and customer feedback. How do you incorporate that?
For example, my friends will know this about me. I ask to borrow their clothes. I'm like, can I see you? Can I see? In fact, I just took somebody's bikini set this morning, and she's going to laugh. I want to see what my customers buy and what they're wearing and how things fit. The age group that I play in, they're very vocal. They will say, this is, I don't like my arms, or like something. So when I create things, I try to think of the things I know generally my customers are worried about. So some of them don't like to show their legs, so I'll make sure there's something in the collection that enables them to take something away with them, but provides them with the coverage that they want in some way. The swimwear especially is an area where I think a lot of clients like our swimwear because, again, my latest swimsuit, when I was designing it, I wanted to give my clients a waist because that was one thing that I'd heard, I don't really have a waist. Yeah, exactly. So I created the cut of the swimsuit fits like a corset. And then we added a belt to it, which again gives that illusion of a narrower hourglass figure. But then also the fabric itself is very supportive, and the cut is cut for, a fuller bust. It can accommodate that. So I want my clients to feel comfortable, and for me also, it's a fun challenge. How can I create this thing that I know my clients will like?
So then what is your client range in terms of age, roughly?
I would say my clients range from age 35 to 75, which is quite a large range.
It is,
and also an interesting range, because at this age, then your body starts to change. You store fat differently, and your muscle tone is different. So, it's very, very easy to dress a 21-year-old. Super simple, like it's no fun.
Yeah.
So this age range that I like to play in, my sandbox, is just, there seems to be just more appreciation. And also, like I was saying earlier, because you're older and you've had more experience and you're a bit more confident in yourself as well, you're more willing to take risks. You're more willing to try something new, and that makes it exciting for me as a designer.
Okay. So could you share some of your top tips for our listeners on developing or refining their personal style as they continue to navigate life's transitions?
Having said, trust yourself, I'm going to say that you can find role models, women who are your age or older, who have a look that you like, who present themselves in a way that you like, and have a look to see what they're wearing. To the extent that generally your role model might be somebody in the public eye. See how they move, see the confidence with which they choose the pieces that they choose. Try to understand what it is about what they're wearing that you like. I like the way those trousers make her legs look, or I like that she always, and then try and keep that in mind for yourself when you are shopping or when you're looking at clothes. I think that's the easiest way to look at people who are doing it well, to your standard. Obviously, you might want to look like J-Lo, or you might want to look like Helen Mirren. Two very different styles, but both really very elegant women, and both over 50. Well, definitely J-Lo's over 50 and Helen Mirren is over 70. But yeah, both inspirational. So that's the easiest way, I would say, to do it. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to hire a stylist. There is no harm in hiring somebody whose taste you like, to do a once-over of your closet and to make suggestions for you. Because most women don't spend their days, weeks scouring the markets, the shops, and especially for things like makeup, you probably don't know what the latest thing is. And also, if you've been dressing a certain way your whole life, you don't know what other options that are out there that might suit you.
Right.
And even the stuff that might be already in your closet, like you never even thought of putting that together with that.
Exactly. I mean, even myself as a designer, my stylist is Lauren from Primordial. She lives here on the island. I love to have her input on things for me, and we're planning a shopping trip to New York, just so that I want to see what she would suggest.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so fun.
Super fun. And you've got to meet her. She's amazing.
I want to go.
Super fun. Because me too, I can get stuck in a rut because I have the same clothes, wear them the same way. Actually, I don't do that because I'm very deliberate about how I mix and match things in my closet. But yeah, hire a stylist, work with a stylist, or also a makeup artist. So here on Ireland, Sonia Sechenani from Star Bar, she was another one. I paid her to do a makeup consult with me, just to refresh what I was doing with my makeup.
Because like if I've been doing the same makeup since the 90s, it's probably not doing myself any favors.
Well, this is it. And there's so many new things on the market that you could use and have. And I spent the whole hour going, really?
Right.
So yeah, so that's another way. And I know, you know, it's not really, I'm not sure that it's something that many women would consider as, yeah, of course, I'll hire a stylist. But absolutely do it. It will change your life.
I think a lot of people would think, no, that's fancy. That's too fancy, or I don't have an event.
Not at all.
That too, that it might be too expensive. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, in the long run, like let's say I'm there. I can't remember. I have no idea what the stat is, but I think for the most part, most of us are only wearing a small percentage of our closet day in, day out. So I might keep buying stuff, but I'm keep buying the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if I then take that money that I was going to buy new outfits for the next 6 months, say, and get the stylist to come help me shop my closet.
Just right. And I love to do that with friends as well. I like to go and sit in people's closets and just look at their clothes, not just for a professional thing, but I'm actually interested in the clothes people wear.
Yeah.
Well, it probably inspires you.
Yeah, too. I love it. I love women anyway, just generally. I think we are just amazing as humans. And I'm interested to see what makes women tick, especially around their clothes and the choices that they make around their clothing.
Right. So then playing off of that, what about color analysis?
Go for it.
Yeah.
It does make a difference.
Yeah.
And there are different ways to do it, of course, and there are different practitioners. But if I held, and I do this often with people, if I hold two colors against your face, you can see your skin brightens or looks duller based on the colors that are on you. Whether you take it all in and say, okay, right, these are the only colors I wear for the rest of my life, that's a whole different story. But it's just, I guess, another avenue to explore, to see, okay, what can I change? Where can I make a shift or make a difference so that I feel better about the way I look? Ultimately, that's the end game. You want to feel good about how you look. Oh, and then my other thing, I love the TV show Queer Eye.
Oh, yeah. So do I.
I shake my head because I'm just copying my husband shaking his head because it's just, I love to see, I love a makeover. I've always loved makeovers. Yes.
Well, because somebody might say, well, that's superficial. Like, why would those things make me feel better? But watching a show like Queer Eye, you can see it literally transforms their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It may be superficial, like I said, clothing can start a revolution. It's just how you see yourself every day.
Yeah.
Which
is absolutely not superficial.
Right.
It's very deep.
It's so important. It's so important. And this is why, people get makeovers and cry because, their lives, they feel different. They're like, who's this person in a mirror? And the thing is, that person was there all along. You just weren't able to show her off. You just didn't have the tools or understanding or courage to let her come out.
Right.
Yep.
So then what is next for Isy B?
I have my collection, so I'm working on the next collection now. It takes me about a year to from writing the story to narrating the story to creating a design. So I've tried to put my year into sections, and right now I'm coming out of the design phase and getting ready to go into production. What's next for me? I don't know what's next for me. I'm open to new things, maybe sometimes a bit too open to new things. I think I think the challenge for me is like trying to narrow my focus and stay true to my ultimate vision. But I love what I do. You know, I feel so blessed to be able to do what I do, and I love the feedback that I get from what I do. I don't know what's next. Anything can happen at this stage, but the thing is, I feel like I would be ready for it, and I'm excited for whatever comes up next.
How many collections do you have a year?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Do you
So
retire the old one?
yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we archive the old collections, but within the collection, so there's one story, and then within the story there are 2 or 3 collections, print collections within the story.
Okay.
So I just do that once a year. I used to do it multiple times a year, but you know, the thing about fast fashion is there's no time to appreciate it and enjoy it and be in the process. So doing it once a year means that I can really be in it, you know, and create something that I'm excited about, which I am, thank God. It's finally working. It's been weeks trying to get a print to work. So yeah.
When does that collection release?
It will release end of November or early December.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to release it locally first so that my local loyal, beautiful fan base have first dibs. And it's great because pieces often sell out but before it even gets to January. So we're out of things. And my collections, I do small runs. So, you know, usually once the thing is gone, it's gone unless I decide, oh, okay, fine, I'll do it again.
Okay.
So
Good for you.
thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to hop into our hot flash and hot take.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a little rapid fire that we do.
Okay.
Hot flash is not so good,
Okay.
and hot take is yes, it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Hot flash.
So
Not good.
yes,
Yeah, we don't want those.
We don't want to have
oversized clothing.
hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take. Yeah, depends. You know, depends on the look you're going for. It depends on how comfortable you want to be. You can still be oversized and still be structured. So I would say, yeah, it's a hot take.
Well, it's kind of like what we saw the other night with the, you know, how you were saying the top and the bottom matching. A lot of those were a bit oversized, like the pants and the top and stuff too. So,
Yeah.
okay. Low-rise pants.
Oof. You know, I used to love a low-rise pant in the 90s.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
We all
But you know,
I did not.
oh, you did not.
No,
Oh,
I was never a fan.
You're a more evolved human than the rest of us. Then the thing is, right? The thing I will say right now, hot flash for low-rise pants. Only, well, depends on your age. Again, as you get older, where your body stores fat changes.
Yeah.
You know, whereas before your lower belly, you didn't really store that much fat in your
Right.
lower belly, so you could absolutely wear the low-rise pants, and it was great. But now, if I try to do that, it is very uncomfortable. So, for aesthetic purposes, if you can rock them, absolutely go for it. But for me, difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
And at this stage, like comfort is key. So
Comfort is key.
it has to look good, but also be comfortable.
Exactly. And you know, a great place for your pants to hit is just slightly below your natural waist. That is probably the most flattering place for it to hit. Just to give you a nice curve and to smooth over everything that's there, and so that you're comfortable as well.
Makes sense. What about layering? Hot flash, hot take.
Absolutely hot take.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
We can't do huge amounts of layering in the Caribbean because it's so hot, but it's a wonderful way to look polished. You know, it's an elevated way of dressing. But it gives you, it's very elegant, and so I would say it's a hot take.
Okay. think I know what this one's going to be, but bold accessories and statement pieces.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Hot take alert.
I thought so.
Quickest way to make an outfit.
Yeah.
Invest in your accessories. You know, if you like it, buy it. You can go as big as you want. Also, it doesn't matter what size you are. And it's just
Right.
a fun way to really, and it's an easy way, especially for people who are wondering, you know, how can I change my look or how do I evolve my look? Accessories, the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, makes sense. What about monochrome outfits?
Hot take.
Okay.
Again, very elegant. If you can match, if you can match them, then yes. But if the tones are off, then you're probably not doing the thing. It's probably not doing for you what you want it to do. But the thing about the monochrome is that it keeps your eye focused. Like it creates a clean line, you know, for whatever you're wearing. So it's like draws your eye, and so there are no distractions. So and I think that's what helps it feel and look elegant.
Oh. Okay. Sustainable fashion.
Hot take every time. Love fashion, love clothes, but also love that there are more environmentally friendly ways to enjoy the fashion. It's not always possible. I know that. God knows I know that as a designer. I try my best to use sustainable fabrics where I can. I'm happy to say that this last collection, all collections going forward, more than 50% of what we're creating is done with recycled fabrics and sustainable fabrics.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
It was hard thing. It was a hard thing to do, but I'm glad because it was really important to me. So yeah, if there are ways to enjoy fashion that are also friendly for the earth that we live in.
Yeah. How can we find your products? How can we find you on the internet and everywhere?
Thank you. I'm everywhere. No, my website is isybdesign, isybdesign.com. That has all our products on it. In Cayman, we are retailed at mostly spas in all the big hotels. At the Kimpton Seafire Spa downstairs, at the Marriott Boutique, at the Hibiscus Spa at the Westin, at the Ritz-Carlton. Really, really delighted to be able to partner with these boutiques on the island and sell ICB there. So those are and Tabs in Camana Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
What about internationally?
you know, we do some stuff internationally. My international clients, again, are mostly hotels. What I did was to pull back a little on the international sales. So we were doing a lot of the US and a lot of Caribbean hotels, but I pulled back because I found myself stretched too thin. And I found that I wasn't able to manage the business in the way that I wanted to manage it when I was trying to make sales across the US, you know.
Right.
We were selling into the Mandarin Oriental and to Grand Hyatt but it was more than I wanted at the time. And there will come a time. So right now, international sales, we're in Bermuda, we're in Honduras, we're in Bahamas, we're in small boutique in Jamaica, a few places in the US, but nothing major until I can figure out how to do it in a way that's going to be sustainable for me.
Makes sense.
And on social media?
Oh, yes. I'm Instagram and Facebook, mainly Pinterest, at ICB Design.
All right.
Awesome.
I loved this conversation. I love everything fashion. I love everything ECB.
Thank you.
This was such a great
Thank
conversation. So thank you for joining us today.
you.
Thank you for having me, you guys. It's been wonderful. It's so interesting, the questions you get asked, and you have to think about what you actually think about things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us on Breast Intentions. We hope you felt seen, supported, and maybe had a few laughs along the way. Don't forget to share, subscribe, rate and review us. Your support keeps the conversation alive. Follow us on social media for more insights, behind-the-scenes fun, and updates on future episodes. Got a topic you want us to dive into? We'd love to hear from you. Remember, life's too short for bad bras, toxic relationships, and kale you don't actually like. So until next time, stay bold and keep your breast intentions exactly where they belong, front and center. Now go crush midlife, or at least today's to-do list. Cheers!